What's up, everyone? This is Matt coming back at you with another sports podcast. Still don't have a name for the show yet. Love to get you guys' opinions on some names. If you could leave that in the comments below. On today's podcast, what I'm going to do is go over the NFL for you, who I think is going to win each division, who's going to make the playoffs, and who eventually is going to win the Super Bowl. All right, I'm going to start on the NFC first, and then starting with that, the NFC North. I think the Packers are the clear-cut favorites to win this division. Aaron Rodgers is the best player in this division. He has the best wide receiver in this division, in my opinion, in Jordy Nelson. Their defense is always opportunistic and creating turnovers, and I just don't see much resistance from the Lions, Vikings, and Bears, who I have finishing in that order. So I have the Packers first, the Lions second, the Vikings third, and the Bears fourth. Now on to the NFC South, which I think is going to be the most competitive division in the NFC this year. Atlanta, Carolina, Tampa, and New Orleans all realistically think that they can make the playoffs. This year, I believe Atlanta is going to repeat as division winners. Now, I'm not seeing Atlanta getting a lot of love from the national pundits this year, feeling that Kyle Shanahan leaving is going to be a detriment to this team. You know who didn't leave? Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, and Tevin Coleman. They still got that opportunistic defense, which I think will get better. They're really young last year. I think with another year of growth that defense is going to be a little bit better, good enough to where this team can still repeat as division champs. In second this year, I believe Carolina is going to take a step up. Last year, Cam was not Cam. He was injured a lot. This year, he's coming back, seems healthy. They added some stud playmakers on the offense with Christian McCaffrey and Curtis Samuel. You got Calvin Benjamin back up, ready to go. They have a good offensive line. Defensively, they're still stout. So I feel that Carolina is going to move up in the standings and be second in this division. Now, I personally believe the most overrated team in the NFC this year will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's a lot of hype surrounding this team, and they went out and added Deshaun Jackson to this team. He's going to be a difference maker for Jameis. I just don't trust Jameis Winston yet. He hasn't proven yet that he makes great decisions in the pocket. Once he does that, then I'll change my opinion on this team. But I do feel like this is going to be the third best team in the South and a fringe playoff team. And then fourth, somebody has to be it, and I think it's going to be New Orleans. Drew Brees is amazing, great quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks you're ever going to see in the NFL. They did add Adrian Peterson and a nice 1-2 punch with Mark Ingram there. Defensively, they're just really bad. I feel that I can suit up and rush for 100 yards on them right now. They're that bad. So in conclusion, I have Atlanta 1, Carolina 2, Tampa 3, and New Orleans 4. Now we're going on to the NFC West. The NFC West, I feel, is going to be won by the Seattle Seahawks. They are the cream of the crop when it comes to the teams out west. The division's a little down this year. I believe Russell Wilson will have his steady as usual year. They do have a three-headed monster at running back with Thomas Rawls, Eddie Lacy, and C.J. Prosise. Now, there's some injury concerns with that, and with Eddie Lacy, there's always the weight concerns. I feel like a motivated Lacy is going to have a big year for them. Doug Baldwin's very good, and not to mention, they have the best defense in the NFL. So I think they're going to win the NFC West easily. The second team in that division is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the aging stars of Carson Palmer and Larry Fitzgerald, I still feel like they have a lot left in the tank, but they are getting to that end of the twilight of their career. They have David Johnson, who I feel alone is going to get this team to about 8-9 wins because he's just such an amazing playmaker for them. He can catch the ball, run the ball. He's going to do everything for that team. And they still have a solid defense there. So I do have them finishing second in the West. The third place team I have is the San Francisco 49ers. I love the direction they're going in. Now, I know I said about the Atlanta Falcons losing Kyle Shanahan. I don't think it's going to be a big deal for them, but I think it's a huge deal for San Francisco to get Kyle Shanahan. A couple years ago with the Browns as the offensive coordinator and Brian Hoyer, who they brought in as their quarterback, they got the Browns into playoff discussion, which is a feat in itself. They have a young defensive team there, and Solomon Thomas, they did their first round draft pick, should add to that. I just don't think they have a lot of weapons there to seriously compete in that division. And then in fourth place, I have the Los Angeles Rams. Now, I think Jared Goff is going to have a better year. A lot of people are writing him off. Some players just don't get it right away, and I feel like he's one of those. They did add Sammy Watkins, so I think they're going to give him a little bit of help. They do have a really good defense, but Aaron Donald's holding out, and who knows if he's going to come back week 1 or week 2 or whatever. I think there's just a lot of turmoil going on there, and I have them finishing last in that division. All right, now on to our final stop in the NFC East. The NFC East is going to be a very competitive division like it always is. I feel this year that it is going to be Dallas winning this division again. Now, the whole Zeke suspension, will he be suspended, will he not be suspended, is going to play a huge role in this team. But I think they have enough talent and backup talent with Darren McFadden to carry this team for those 3, 4, 5, 6 games that Zeke will miss and propel them to win this division. Now, Darren McFadden a few years ago, behind this same offensive line, ran for 1,000 yards. With Dez on the outside, Jason Witten catching balls over the middle, Dak still has a lot of weapons to showcase his talent. He is the reigning NFL Rookie of the Year, offensive side of the ball speaking, and they will not miss Zeke too much. Now, Zeke is a dramatic, game-changing player. He makes that team very good. I mean, a Super Bowl contender. But Darren McFadden is a very reliable backup, and I think he'll do well in Zeke's absence. Now, my second place team in this, and I've been going back and forth with the next two teams. I feel like the New York Giants are going to finish second and compete for that playoff spot. Now, the Giants have Eli Manning, Odell Beckham. They have a good running back in Paul Perkins, a decent offensive line. I feel like one of the big moves that they made in the draft this year was getting Evan Ingram, a tight end, a very tall, very fast receiving tight end to help Eli in the passing game. Defensively, they're going to be very strong. They still have Olivier Vernon out there causing all kinds of havoc. I do feel like this team will win enough games to be the second best team in this division. Closely following them, third place, I have Philadelphia. And truly, the only reason I have them in third place behind New York is I don't know who Carson Wentz is going to throw the ball to. Now, I know you have a very reliable tight end in Zach Ertz, but who is going to be the outside help? They got rid of Jordan Matthews. They got rid of Brian Matthews, which I believe is an addition by subtraction. They did bring in LeGarrette Blount. Him with Wendell Smallwood, I think, is going to provide a nice 1-2 punch in the rushing attack. A very good offensive line. Now, you got to remember last year, Philadelphia was flying high. They just came off an absolute whooping of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lane Johnson then got suspended, and the team took a nosedive. I think Lane Johnson is going to come back and provide that offensive line stability for them to be able to run the ball and kind of control the game. They have a very good defense on the other side, and so I'm just conflicted, but if you had to hold a gun to my head, Philly third, New York second, and that unfortunately means that I have Washington as the last place team in this division. Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback. I feel like the drama that's going on there is hurting them more with the front office not shelling out they're going to be shelling out the cash with the franchise tag, but not the long-term deal for Kirk Cousins. Robert Kelly should have a solid year for them. They did lose Deshaun Jackson to Tampa this offseason, and defensively, I think there's a lot of question marks there as well. So my final prediction for the NFC East is Dallas 1, New York 2nd, Philly 3rd, and Washington 4th. Okay, so now my recap of the NFC. I have the Packers being the kings of the North. I have Atlanta winning the South. I have Seattle winning the West. And I have Dallas winning the East. Now, my next two teams that are going to make the playoffs as wild cards are going to be Carolina and New York. I feel like those two teams will do just enough to get in. I feel that the best team in the NFC and the team that will be representing them in the Super Bowl is going to be the Green Bay Packers. And now moving on to the AFC, I am going to predict the AFC North right here. I have Pittsburgh winning this division. I feel that they're clear and cut the best team in this division. They should win 11, 12 games. They have the best collection of offensive talent in the NFL. And if they can put it together, they'll be dangerous offensively. Big Ben is their quarterback. Le'Veon Bell is their running back. Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant is their wide receivers, and a very good offensive line. If they're clicking on all cylinders, they're going to be impossible to stop. The one question mark with this team, and it really will determine if this team can make the Super Bowl or possibly win it, will be their young but talented defense. If Ryan Shazier can step up and be a beast linebacker, I feel like this team is going to roll on and they're going to win a lot of games in the AFC. Now, second and third, really you can flip a coin between Cincinnati and Baltimore. I think they're both going to finish right around the 8-8 mark. And Cleveland, although I feel that they're going to be extremely competitive this year, will end up still finishing last. All right, now moving on to the AFC South. I think it's a very hard division to pick. There's some very good teams and a lot of averageness going on. I do feel like the Houston Texans will win this division, and I'm basing this solely on Tom Savage will be getting benched early, and Deshaun Watson will come on, and he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year this year. He looks like to be the real deal. Saw him in a lot of preseason games. I feel like he's going to be the outlet that DeAndre Hopkins needs out there. Lamar Miller, a very good running back. I feel also he'll be getting replaced with Deontay Foreman. So I feel like they're going to have a young but talented offense that will match a very dominating defense with J.J. Watt if he stays healthy and Jadeveon Clowney on the outside rushing the passer. I feel like they're going to have just enough to still win this division. But closely following this year, I believe Tennessee Titans will have a very solid year. Marcus Mariota looks to take a step forward. Again, I just don't trust him yet. Just like Jameis Winston on the other side, he hasn't proven for a full 16 that he can be a star quarterback and lead his team to a lot of victories. Now, I do like what they have on the offensive line, and I do like that they have DeMarco Murray. Getting that young playmaker in the draft out of Western Michigan, Chris Davis, should add a dimension to this team with Delaney Walker still very solid there as a tight end. And again, another solid defense in this AFC South. My third place team is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Now, if Andrew Luck was 100% healthy, I think I'd pick them to win the division. But he is still, just got activated from the PUP list there. So, but he's not playing week 1, and he's probably not playing week 2. And if he does come back, is this injury going to be lingering? So there's too many question marks with Andrew Luck for me to sit here and pick them as the first place or even the second place team in this division. And they always in Indianapolis have questions defensively. And I feel like that there's too many questions for them to be a serious threat to win this division. And in fourth place, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I do like what they're doing down there. I mean, they have young, exciting defense, and that should keep them in some games, and they should be very competitive. But who's their quarterback? Honestly, who's their quarterback? Blake Bortles, I mean, he has proven that he is a turnover machine. And then who they have behind him? Chad Henne. If he's been in the league for so long, we know what he is. Leonard Fournette, who thinks the NFL is easy, which is just a terrible mindset to have as a young rookie when you rush for 23 yards on 9 carries to say that the NFL is easy. I just feel like that this team is still a couple years away from being a serious threat to any team in the AFC South. Now on to the AFC West, which I think is going to be a very competitive division. There's 4 really good teams in this division. I do feel that Oakland will be the team that wins this division. Derek Carr took major steps forward last year until that injured thumb took him out and really ruined any chance of Oakland having any success in the postseason. Their addition of Marshawn Lynch, I think, is a plus over Latavius Murray. Amari Cooper is a very solid wide receiver. Defensively, they have probably the best defensive player in all of football, in Khalil Mack. I do believe that guy has a chance of getting 20 sacks, 5 picks this year. He's that good. Second place team I have is the Kansas City Chiefs. The one question I have at Kansas City, and I think it's something that's going to hold them back, can Alex Smith be more than a game manager? If he can let loose a little bit and get his playmakers involved, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, they did lose Spencer Ware here not that long ago, and then there's a lot of hype around this Kareem Hunt rookie running back. Let's see if he can step in and fill those shoes, but I do feel like there's some playmaking ability out there on the outside for Alex Smith to kind of let go a little bit. Defensively, they're very good. I mean, Eric Berry is a true stud of a safety. He can cover your tight end. He can cover your best wide receiver. He's a very versatile. In third place, I have the Los Angeles. I did get it right. The Los Angeles Chargers. Phillip Rivers, very good quarterback. If Allen can stay healthy and not get hurt, he always seems to get hurt. He's a top 5 receiver, but he can't rely on him because he's always hurt. They do have a two-headed monster at the tight end position with Hunter Henry and the old man Antonio Gates. Melvin Gordon's poised to have a huge year behind a decent offensive line. I mean, they're going to feed him the rock 20, 25 times this year. Defensively, they're solid. Again, I feel like they're going to be in a lot of games because Phillip Rivers is just going to be a nice gunslinger for them. And fingers crossed Mike Williams' injury is not as serious as it's been reported. If he's a guy that could be on this team and provide a weapon on the other side of Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry and Antonio Gates, I mean, that could be a very explosive offense. So that's why I have them finishing third. And fourth, I have the Denver Broncos solely on their quarterback play. Defensively, they're going to be in a lot of games, but I just don't think that they have what it takes to win that division with Simeon as their quarterback. Personal opinion, I also don't think their running backs are all that good. C.J. Anderson, Devontae Booker, I just don't see them being the guys that can lead a good rushing attack. I mean, they do have some good receivers there in Emmanuel Sanders. To me, I just feel, again, it all comes back down to that quarterback position, and I just don't think they're good enough to win with Trevor Siemian as their quarterback. That, I have Oakland 1, Kansas City 2, Chargers 3rd, and Denver 4th. And then I'm going to move on to the AFC East, which I think this is almost a no-brainer. It's 99% of the world population is picking this. The New England Patriots should win this division. With two teams tanking in their division, they have at least 4 wins there. The Patriots have, obviously, Tom Brady. They added some offensive weapons. They have Brandon Cooks that just got added. For me, I think the biggest question mark with this team is going to be defensively. Are they going to be able to win these games with a average defense? And I do believe they will. They are a very talented team. Everyone's talking about the Patriots. Don't need to elaborate on them. We all know who they are. My second place finisher in the AFC East is the Miami Dolphins. I believe that Jay Cutler is going to have a very good year, and they very well can have the best center, running back, and receiver by the end of this year. I mean, statistically, I mean, Pouncey's a great center, and Jay Ajayi can lead the league in rushing, and Jarvis Landry could lead the league in receiving. I mean, they're very very good offensively, and defensively, they're a very solid team. I mean, they were a playoff team last year, and if it wasn't for Tannehill getting hurt, maybe this team would have went on a little further. I don't know if they would still beat Pittsburgh, but they're a playoff team, and there's a reason why. My third place team is Buffalo, although I don't feel like they're in a hardcore tank, but I mean, they're trying to lose games. I just don't think they're trying as hard as the team I picked finishing last in this division. Trading away Sammy Watkins. The addition of Jordan Matthews, I feel like, is almost a like for like, with Sammy Watkins always hurt. Jordan Matthews can provide a good receiving touch there for them. Running back LaShawn McCoy is probably going to touch the ball 40 times a game. I don't know who else they're going to go to there. But ultimately, I have them finishing above the New York Jets, who I believe they're in full tank mode. They're trying to get in the quarterback lottery and get Sam Darnold or Rosen or the Kid Allen from Wyoming. They're trying to get one of those top end quarterbacks and be the worst team to get that first pick. So in the AFC East, I have the Pats, the Dolphins, the Bills, then the Jets. All right, so my AFC division winners are Pittsburgh, our Kings of the North. We have the Texans winning the South, Oakland as AFC West champs, and the Pats easily winning the AFC East. My two playoff teams or my two wild card teams are going to be the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. So I have three teams coming out of the AFC West. The AFC representative for the Super Bowl will be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they're going to beat the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. The big reason why, and I said this in the New England breakdown, is I don't think defensively they're good enough to beat Pittsburgh's offense. So if you're keeping track, I have the Packers versus Pittsburgh. Both teams there will win the North divisions of their respected conferences. I have Green Bay defeating Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl. So I have Aaron Rodgers winning his second ring, and the Packers are once again Super Bowl champs. Okay, guys, so that's my predictions for the NFL this season. I want to again thank everyone for taking a little bit of time out of their day to listen to me ramble on about sports. That really does mean a lot to me. Again, I don't have a name for this show yet. If you guys have any clever names, please put it in the comments below. Again, if there's anything you could think I can do a little bit better, again, I'm still getting used to this, so any feedback will be greatly appreciated. So I will be doing another podcast here Friday. I'm going to drop my Ohio State versus Oklahoma preview, so look out for that. Again, thank you guys very much for taking some time to listen to me, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.